Really Haunted Places does not support or endorse trespassing to visit haunted places. Before you decide to visit, please make sure to acquire the appropriate permits and/or permissions, and be respectful of properties that are privately owned. Good evening. Welcome to Really Haunted Places. Tonight's top 7 ghost stories will take you to haunted places in Charleston, South Carolina. Built in 1802, Old City Jail is a beautiful building reminiscent of an abandoned castle. However, it was home to some of the city's most dangerous people, many of whom died within its walls. It housed pirates, murderers, and even the first known female serial killer, Lavinia Fisher. She was held there until her execution, and legend says she wore her wedding dress to the gallows. People who were unjustly imprisoned were also held and died there, such as slaves and Civil War prisoners. The Old City Jail is considered one of the most haunted places in the country. People have reported hearing voices coming from empty rooms, seeing objects move on their own, and feeling someone poke them as they walk by. Many people have even seen the ghost of Lavinia Fisher, possibly sweeping through the halls in her wedding dress. One of the city's most historic hotels, the Battery Carriage House Inn, was rebuilt after sustaining heavy damage during the Civil War. Today it is a beautiful, elegant hotel where more than one room seems to hold unexpected guests. Room 8 is home to what is probably the most frightening apparition on site. Guests have reported waking in the night to find a headless torso floating beside the bed. It's believed that he's a soldier from the Civil War who suffered his gruesome injuries in battle. In room 10 you'll find a friendlier apparition. A gentleman is seen moving through this room, sometimes trying to climb into bed with women who stay in the room. Creepy. During the Prohibition era, the Blind Tiger Pub served as a speakeasy. These days it is a popular bar which also just so happens to be one of the most haunted places in Charleston. According to staff members, there are quite a few ghosts hanging around, and they are certainly not shy about making their presence known. A former manager claims that while he was closing up one night, 2 friends were sitting at a table in the bar waiting on him. Suddenly, all 3 of them saw a lady in black clothing appear and walk across the bar area before promptly disappearing again. We can't say for sure if this is why the manager is no longer working there or not, but it certainly gave him a scare. Some of the regular customers have also had their own paranormal encounters at the Blind Tiger. A few have reported having their hair pulled when nobody is around. Others have reported phantom footsteps and the sound of leaves crunching by the back patio, despite the fact that there is nobody nearby. This building was constructed in 1767, and it was a customs house, commerce center, and post office. Underneath all this mundane activity, however, the basement harbored a dungeon. Here pirates, war prisoners, and slaves were held in appalling conditions, many of them dying within its walls. Visitors have heard screams and felt hands reaching out for them as they toured the dungeon. One of the famous prisoners held in the Old Exchange dungeon was Isaac Hayne. He was an English soldier who defected to fight with the Patriots during the Revolutionary War, only to be caught and executed by the Redcoats. People have reported seeing someone they thought was a guy dressed in Revolutionary clothing, only to have him disappear before their eyes. It's thought this apparition might be the spirit of Isaac Hayne. Swordgate's house was built back in 1810 as a private residence. However, it later became Madame Talvin's girls' school. The school was well known for being extremely strict, and the headmistress kept a close eye on her girls. However, one of the girls still managed to conduct a secret affair with her boyfriend. Madame Talvin was livid when she discovered this and erected the tall gate and fence around the school to keep the boy and others like him out. It seems like she has taken that mission to heart for all of eternity, because today people still see her ghostly figure standing just inside the gates, glaring at those passing by, as if making sure no boys are attempting to gain entry. Seemingly hidden on Queen Street, Poogan's Porch is a traditional Southern cuisine restaurant that serves its meals in a Victorian townhouse. This restaurant is named after Poogan, the dog that lived and died there in 1979. Guests have often reported seeing him walk the grounds and even felt him brush past their legs as they eat. However, there is another ghostly presence at Poogan's Porch. The house was once the home of sisters Zoe and Elizabeth St. Amand. Elizabeth died in 1945, leaving Zoe alone and confused. She later died in 1954, and ever since, people have reported seeing a woman dressed in black wandering the rooms of the building. More than a few patrons have said that Zoe appeared behind them in the ladies' bathroom, showing herself in the mirror. While most graveyards in the area are meticulously maintained to hold back the lush green growth, only the paths of this cemetery are groomed. This overgrown vegetation is considered a symbol of life after death in the Unitarian Church, but it's also the perfect backdrop for the spooky incidents in the graveyard. The ghost of Annabel Lee is said to walk the grounds of the cemetery. Local legend says that Annabel Lee was only 14 when she fell in love with an 18-year-old man who was staying in nearby Fort Moultrie. Her father refused to allow the couple to be together, locking his daughter in her room to keep them apart. Annabel Lee languished and died in her room and was buried in the Unitarian Church Cemetery, in an unmarked grave, so her lover could not find her even after her death. I want to thank you for watching our top 7 ghost stories. Until then, good night.